I did not even start to negotiate because it was about me and I undervalued myself. And it's like, oh, and if I ask this much money, then I have to prove it. And what if I'm not good enough? And every single job I had, I overperformed. Beautiful, amazing lady. Welcome back at a new episode of the podcast for female leaders. And today I'm going to talk about money. Na 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 na. Okay, I will stop singing. My husband always runs away when I start singing. My kids also. Okay, money. I'm talking about salary here. I'm talking about your hourly rate when you're self-employed. Basically everything. When it's about money, this is what this episode is about. And then the money in relation to your work. So your salary, your income, your invoices, so your offers towards customers or potential customers. So how do you decide how much money you should ask, or what is your level when you are entering a negotiation about a salary or an offer you made? Of course, it depends a lot where you work, what you do, the knowledge you have, the experience you have. But I believe there is something way more important compared to that. Let's start with a story about myself. How money is how it worked for me. When a few years ago, my husband and I, we invested in houses, apartments in Amsterdam to rent out, to create a second or third income without having to work so hard. And I am very good in negotiating. So I did that. I didn't talk to the agencies, and I didn't hire an agency. I don't know what's common abroad, but in Holland you can do both. You can hire an agency to buy as a buyer, and you can hire as a seller. Well, I never hired an agency as a buyer. We always did it ourselves, and also our own houses. We used to live in our current house, so I was the one doing the negotiation. And the funny thing is, when you buy something as an investment, there is no emotion. The only reason is that you want to make money. It should be able to be rent out shortly. It should be in a nice area and all those things, but not for ourselves, for our tenants. So I was very good at it. And there was the market, of course, changed a lot. We did it twice as an investment, and the first time the house was already longer on the market, longer than 6 months. So that's a really fantastic situation for the buyer, for us. So it's unbelievable. I wish we had more money back then to invest, but it was so freaking cheap. It was so cheap. It was around 200,000 euros for a 90 square meter apartment in Amsterdam, within the ring. So that's where you wanna be. If you're an expat, you usually want to be within the Amsterdam ring. So yeah, it took a while, but we were not in a hurry. So the agency and also the seller, they were a bit annoyed, but hey, there was nobody else. So I took the time and I managed to get 10% off the price. Fantastic. The agency complimented me. And same a few years later, market was different. You had to kind of go for pay the asking price. Not yet over a bid, if that is an English word, but offer more than the asking price. So that was very easy. Piece of cake for me. But when I switched jobs and I got an offer, a salary offer in the contract, I did not even start to negotiate because it was about me. it was about me, and I undervalued myself. And it's like, oh, and if I ask this much money, then I have to prove it. And what if I'm not good enough? And every single job I had, I overperformed. I knew that somehow, but I just couldn't see it at that time. But anyway, it is what it is. But that's to show what happens if it's about you. And it could be that if you're still listening to this podcast episode, that you recognize. Now, last week I had a training. I organized training. When you're part of the program in Holland, there is always a full day training on a really pretty location, beautiful place. It was raining like hell, but the place was beautiful. It was really autumn. And this lady was asking, so next week I will get a proposal, a job offer. I did already some interviews, and they're going to offer me. And they said, well, how should I do it? And I asked her, what do you want? And she said, I want my current salary plus extra. I said, that's it? What you want extra? Yeah. I think there is more to it, but the thing that what I told her, I don't really do advices, because advices, yeah, you just throw them in the bin and bye-bye advice. But a really interesting way to do it, also, you allow yourself to grow with this, with money, is that you have, it all depends. Huh? You have probably done some research if you're looking for a new job on what a potential salary could be. Or maybe you just want your own plus extra. And that was the case of this lady, her own and extra. And I said, first of all, you really figure out if you start, you talk about money before you start. You also, within a company, if you go to your next position, you start immediately talking about money. Not immediately maybe, but if you do it afterwards, it's going to be a lot harder because you're in it. There is no more urgency for the other people. So you do it ASAP, ASAP. And that's the same with, because this was exactly a reason why she joined, not exactly this specific situation, but she was very good in going for her responsibilities, take responsibilities a lot more, and not taking care of herself. That's often a reason why women join my program. They're done with it. They're done with it. And that's good, because when it hurts, it motivates you to want something different for yourself. And then you work with me, and then we go for it. Okay. I told her the best thing also to grow, huh? And to, so what is it that you really want, that you're there, if you're there for a year or whatever, you are okay being there. You give all that you have, or as much as you have, and you feel good with the money that you get, the salary that you get. That's what. Now, if you, in her case, it was her basic salary plus extra. And I asked her, how comfortable are you? She didn't know what the offer would be. Maybe it was higher, but anyway, then she can put that money on top of their offer. But does it feel comfortable? How comfortable is it, I asked, to ask this money, not knowing what they will offer? And she said, yeah, I'm okay with it. And exactly that answer, to me, sounds a bit too comfortable. Because if you stay in your comfort zone, you never learn. You never learn. And this is now about money, but of course it's with a lot of things. You never learn to set your boundaries, because you need to get yourself out of that freaking comfort zone and make that step out of your comfort zone as funny, as joyful as you can. That's where the sweet spot is, I believe. So for you, if you're in a situation, or you will be at a certain time, make sure that you find your balance with knowing what you're worth. That's one, but you can grow, but that's another story. And add this much that it feels uncomfortable. Not something you really cannot believe. If she would go from 5 to 10,000, she wasn't able to believe. And then if you don't believe yourself, nobody is going to believe you. Simple, very simple. But if you go from 5,000 to 6 or to 5.5 or whatever is the jump you make, and you feel that you're worth it, and it's a bit uncomfortable, then you're at the perfect spot. Then you go for that, and you energy-wise are strong enough to propose. Even if you get a no or some resistance, you're strong enough to defend, or maybe that's not the right word, but to have a new discussion about it. And then when it actually happens, when there is no discussion, or they accept or they agree or whatever it is, then it's yours. The money is yours. And then next time, because hey, this is just one job. Could be that still you have many, 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 many years to work. Then you go to the next one. Then you do the same thing again. You probably know better what you're worth, so your salary is already higher. And then add this much that it makes you feel uncomfortable. You still go for it, but it feels a bit uncomfortable. That's where your growth is. And every time you do this, you have no idea. You have no idea how important it is for the rest of your career and your income. Every time, step a bit outside of your comfort zone, money-wise. And then also you learn, if they don't accept, you learn how to stand up for yourself. How to say, no, I don't accept. Please give me a new offer, whatever the situation is. So ask what you want to ask, what feels authentic to you, that you're worth, and don't underestimate yourself, don't undervalue yourself. And then add this much that it makes you feel uncomfortable, and then go for it. Enjoy. If you were in this situation listening to this podcast, please let me know if this was of any help. Follow, leave a review, some stars, so you will make this podcast easier to find for many more women and men. Thanks. Bye.